In a more extreme case, right, we've actually had a student come to us. Her math anxiety was even during the class. We had her, then she was actually trembling.
Wow.
Trembling, like how to do this, tremble.
Today we have an amazing guest, Sandra, who is the founder of Nuggets Academy, a tuition center dedicated to helping students who are struggling with learning. She has transformed the way over 300 students approach math, focusing on those who fall behind in traditional classrooms. Her unique, personalized teaching methods not only help students overcome math anxiety, but also rebuild their confidence.
When a student struggle, they find it difficult to keep up in school. In a class of like 40, right? 35 to 40 in class, the teacher has a certain curriculum to pace, right? There will be faster students in class as well. So unfortunately, if you fall behind, you're the last like 10%, right? You don't understand then, but the teacher has to move on already. So unfortunately, then you will start feeling like, you feel less of yourself. But in a class of 15, then again, the kids who are not even motivated to begin with, they're going to be physically there. But are they listening?
Maybe
I don't think so. What is essential would be to help them enjoy learning in the first place. If they're not going to enjoy learning, they're not going to open up their mind to learning. We recently even have a kid, right? She's already coming for lessons 3 times a week because of our various programs, right?
3 times?
Yes. And then we had a PSLE booster, booster for like 12 weeks. Then she's like, can I join? We want our kids to do well. We want to provide the best for them so that they can succeed in future. But during this process, we need to not forget that their mental and emotional well-being is very important as well. The more fundamental needs would be the being seen, being heard, being in a safe environment. I was blessed, so I need to pass it on. So I want to help the other kids who struggle for whatever reasons, to let them know that, hey, we believe in you. Keep going.
What would you like to tell these parents who are in the phase of lostness? They don't know what to do about it. How can they approach this? Okay, welcome back. This is part 2 where we will talk about what is so unique about Math Nugget and how can Math Nugget help kids who are struggling in school and cannot keep up with the curriculum. So Sandra, share with me, right? Just now you mentioned about how when kids start to struggle, it's never about their learning ability sometimes. And sometimes, a lot of times, it's about how parents put a lot of unnecessary pressure, right? So much so that they either send them to 2 or 3 tuition centers or sometimes even, go into the teaching mode themselves as parents, right? So in your perspective and based on what you see, right, what is the next thing for them? Because if you want them to let go, you want them to, not be so controlling, right? Then how can they kind of like match their pace? How can they relax and let go?
How can they relax and let go? How can parents relax and let go? I guess is to it's really a mindset shift, I would say, right? Because if as parents we're always in a mindset of like, I want my kid to excel, or PSLE may have to score this, right? Your standard is AL1, please don't drop. If you're always so much in that mode, then we would forget that they are kids. And we would forget that, we need to take into account their mental and emotional well-being. So I guess what is the next step? Especially if your child is struggling, right? And not motivated. All the more you should not be pressurizing them into it. So address the root issues. Send them to Math Nuggets. Because what is essential would be to help them enjoy learning in the first place. If they're not going to enjoy learning, they're not going to open up their mindset, their mind to learning. Whatever you do, you hire the best teacher. If they're not absorbing, they're not listening, that's not going to happen. Yeah.
And let's talk about Math Nugget now, right? It's a very interesting name. Because nugget, I think about chicken nuggets.
Yeah,
hungry, right? So why do you call it Math Nuggets?
Firstly, who doesn't love nuggets, right?
Yeah. Yes, you're right. Oh my gosh. All children love nuggets. The only thing they order from Max is nugget meal.
Nuggets, yeah. So why nuggets? Because of the way I teach. So having dealt with struggling students throughout my teaching career, we really need to go step by step. And so learning is like a cumulative one, right? You need to know the basics, then you can move on to level 2, then you can move on to level 3. So, and it's not just that. You need to ensure that every single piece of information or every concept that you teach is digestible. You don't teach the whole thing in one go, 2 hours, let's do this very cheap concept, right? But then after that, they go home with indigestion. Then after that, what happens? Vomit out, so nothing gets absorbed, right?
Yeah.
So that's why nuggets, because that is the core of what we do. We feed your children nuggets, not the real ones, but nuggets of like knowledge, right? So we break things up into digestible and bite-sized pieces so that they can like, digest. I get it, right? Okay, then we move on. Let's eat more, right?
Yeah.
Then from there, you can accumulate the bite-sized pieces and then form the entire concept or the topic that they're supposed to know. So it falls down into, falls back into the whole concept that learning is cumulative and step by step.
So how is it like, the experience? Because I believe that there is still the primary school curriculum that people usually have to follow through, right? And there is certain set concepts and topics that will be covered in the exams, right?
Yes.
So if I go to Math Nugget today, right, how is the curriculum paced out for me?
So of course, we do have our standard curriculum planned out for the year. So we're generally 2 weeks ahead of school, right? And we, in order to do the bite size, in order to so-called customize the learning to a certain extent to your child, we do break the children up into different groups according to their learning pace and their competency. So generally, the class will be able to move as a whole and like together, because we won't have an A1 and an F9 kid together in the same class.
Okay.
So that's how we are able to not be have so diverse learning capabilities children in the same class, so we can address the issue.
Yeah.
Right. So we can have meet the students at their level and support them. So how does the bite size come from? Would be obviously, perhaps let's for ease of discussion, we have level 1, level 2, level 3 kind of questions. So in a not so fast class, we would tackle the level 1 questions bit by bit by bit. And if fine, you're okay, you're competent already, let's move on to the level 2 questions and bit by bit by bit. Then of course, we're going to have to move on to the next topic. I cannot keep bit by bit and then make sure you can do the level 3 questions. Sometimes for some kids, you may not get there at a point in time.
Yeah.
We will keep it for later. Right, we're going to move on to the next topic. So again, bite size, give you. So of course, for the fast classes, one lesson, level 1, level 2, level 3, booms, we can reach ready. Then that's great, move on to the next topic. But for most of our students who are the struggling ones, sometimes we may only end up doing level 1 questions. And that's okay, because that's where you are at that point in time. We want them to feel happy about themselves, right? I'm not going to feed you level 3 questions now. I know you cannot one, right? So all the more, we're not going to do that. And then we're just going to slowly accumulate your competencies and celebrate small successes from there. And that's why our kids love coming for class. Because every time they come, they go back, they feel good about themselves. I did it, I can. It's not so hard, right? Because we are meeting them at their level. We don't give them level 3 questions, then they're like, I'm bad at this, I'm just going to give up. Then they shut down.
I see. So it's almost like a gaming experience where you kind of clear levels.
Oh, totally then.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Okay. So if that's the case, right, that means I'm put into a class, and typically your class is of what size?
Max of 6.
6. Okay.
Very small group.
So 6 means all 5 of them would be of the same level. So let's say we are all maybe like C5 students.
Pretty much so. So we have like two different types of program for our math. So we have our weekly regular classes. So where all the for example, P5s, they will come and then they will do the learning where we cover like the topical aspects, and we also do some of the problem sums. So it's more like a whole, right? We teach you math in general so that you can tackle the entire paper. For this specific group of students, we do break them up into competency level. So we may have like a so-called like an achiever class and an average class and a class that is a little bit slower, need to go at a slower pace. So we group them together so that we can do the bite-sized learning and the pacing that we mentioned just now. Then we have our problem sums masterclass as well, where we actually break the modules down. We have 5 different modules, and it's broken down into levels, right? 5 modules, 5 levels. So there's a level, the difficulty. So level 1 being the easiest, and then level 5 being the toughest one. So why we have that is because we know the importance of meeting kids at their level. So for example, we have a P5 kid that comes in and joins our weekly regular class. Perhaps the topical aspect, the section A and B kind of questions, no problem. But when it comes to the problem solving aspect, cannot do P5 problem sums. Maybe still at the P3 level. Basic model drawing, all these cannot do. Don't know when to plus and minus. Now that kid will struggle very much in that regular class. But how do we address it? join our problem sums masterclass, where you take a diagnostic test and we know that, hey, you need module 1 intervention. So then join that class, then we will support you where you are from there. Then like you clear module 1, then like when you're okay, then fine. Then you go module 2, then we increase the intensity and difficulty from there. Yeah. So sometimes we have like stronger kids as well who come in that, generally no problem with everything, right? But want to push. Right? So then don't join our weekly regular class, because that's paced for students who need the bite-sized, step-by-step kind of learning. Maybe you're so good. You're so good, you don't need, that will not be suitable for you. Then what can you do? Join our masterclass, but at a higher level. So that's why we're going to push you out from there. So just do so that's how we can actually customize and address the needs of different students.
I see. So it's kind of like they're hopping around. Sometimes weekly regular class, sometimes master classes.
So the masterclass acts like a supplement.
Supplement.
Right? So it's like most of our parents are like I think need the weekly regular class also. So so sure, join. Then like, when do you have your modules? Like, our start date is this. Yeah, join. Then like, that's like, in a game, right? You go, then join, boost.
Sounds like Mario Kart.
Yeah. So like a booster supplement. Yeah.
I see. Will you overwhelm the students though?
Yes and no. So obviously you think then that's still twice a week, what?
Yeah.
Right? So that's still twice a week. I thought you said don't like overwhelm the kids. So yes, in terms of time commitment, it is still twice a week. So of course, yes, we look back and then we think, the child can or not first.
Yeah.
Firstly, the child can take it or not. Secondly, the child need or not. Okay, don't just pile on just because FOMO, right? Must have more is better. Not necessarily. So that is something we consider. On the other hand, because we address the kids on a personal level, we understand them and our learning environment, right? We make it so fun and enjoyable for them. Then they're like I want to go. We recently even have a kid, right? She's already coming for lessons 3 times a week because of our various programs, right?
3 times?
Yes. And then we had a PSLE booster, booster for like 12 weeks. Then she's like, can I join? There's a new class. I want to come. So I was like, wait, you're already coming 3 times a week. Enough.
Yeah.
I want to come. Can you call mom now? No. So talking to the mom, actually, she doesn't need to come. Don't come. It's like, come on, too much already. So it's like, so that's where, that's why I emphasize on the helping the kids enjoy learning first. See, after they enjoy learning, they enjoy coming for classes. Come on, 4 times a week, she wants to sign up, not the mom. So the magic really comes from there. So build on the love for learning first.
Yeah. I think you mentioned love for learning as part of your philosophy, right? When it comes to teaching the kids to learn. How do you do that?
So in a small group environment, we're able to know the kids on a personal level. We are able to actually understand how they function, how they think, because every kid will be different. So some kids maybe need to be soft. Maybe they're a bit more sensitive, right? So then you have to use a soft approach to talk to them, right? If they don't know something, you can't even be firm and raise your voice and say, why you don't know, right? No, it's okay, right? So if you understand each child on a personal level, you are able to so-called also customize your approach. So in a class, I may have a kid that's more gentle, then I will speak to the child very gently, cannot scold one. But in the same class, there's maybe a more mischievous boy, right? Then maybe if I talk nicely like that, then there's no
climb over your head.
Yeah, exactly, right? That I cannot be assertive. So I need to be more assertive with that particular boy. Then when I speak to the boy, I'll be like that, hey, you better don't fool around, like be a bit more assertive, and then you'll be like, okay, you mean business, I'll listen to you now, right? Yeah. So sometimes it's funny, in this setting, right? Sometimes my other kids will be like, not fair. Why you talk to her in such a nice way, but you talk to me like that? I said, different what? So the relationship between the teacher and the student has to be there. So the chemistry has to be there. You need to be able to be friends with them in a way, friends yet be an authoritative figure, still be assertive and firm when you have to. Yeah. But when it's okay, you still can fool around with them, So it's an art.
Yeah, it's like the elder sister role.
Yeah, so
fun and friends, but I'm elder.
Yeah, when I ask you to do, you better do. Yeah. So to achieve that balance, and achieve that kind of forge that kind of relationship, it's really important. And then so that the kids will be like I know I'm safe here. I know I won't kena the cane or I won't kena whatever insult or humiliation or feel like
I'm not enough.
I'm not enough. Yeah, exactly that. I feel like I'm not enough. So have them feel like it's a welcoming environment. Sometimes I may be a bit more firm, right? But it's essential. I still love you. So have them feel that, and that's what we do lah. That's what we do as a base before even going to the learning and teaching and the curriculum and whatnot. That one later. Let's make sure you listen to me first.
Yeah.
When I teach, are you listening? Like, do you even want to be here? I make sure you want to be here first.
And I think that's so fundamental, something that we forget, right? Because I thought you'll come up with answers like, oh, you need to do this, you need to entertain the class, you need to add some interesting benefits or something like that so that they foster love.
Yeah.
But what you just said is very fundamental to a human being that just want to be seen, heard, and loved.
Yes. It's not even like our lessons are gamified. We do this with this technology. Yeah, those are nice, that could be something that will help the kids be enticed, right? To want to come for class. But the more fundamental needs would be being seen, being heard, being in a safe environment. I like coming for class. I like my teacher. Somebody believes in me. Things like that, the mental and emotional again. Yeah.
And it's quite sad. Do you feel that it's lost, like this level of connection?
Generally, yes. So in this day and age, right, where everything is technology, screen, we face the screen. So the human interaction is very much reduced, right? You probably don't see your relatives or your distant relatives, your cousins. You probably don't play with them. Even if you meet them, you're on your devices.
Correct.
Right? So the human interaction, and then hence losing the relationship, right? So kids being kids, we are human. We still need the human touch. So I guess with this day and age, with the technology-wise, that is lost or drastically reduced.
Yeah. How about parents? I mean, I would assume that, parents are supposed to provide
be able
that,
to
right?
provide that, right?
And I believe they really want to as well.
Of course, for sure. As parents, we love our children for sure. We want to provide that, right? However, being again in this competitive age, right? Both parents are working, right? And after work, what do we do? Come back tired already, right? Can you still be involved? Maybe the first thing you want to be involved is the schoolwork. You okay or not? You can do it. I cannot do. Okay, can I coach you? Then after that, what happened to the bonding? Do you show that you love and care for your child? Do you actually spend quality time with them? So then this part is something that I think as parents, as a modern age like family these days, it's very hard to juggle for sure. Finances and everything, right? It's very hard to juggle, but it's something that again we cannot forget lah.
Yeah. There's quite a lot of math tuition out there, right? So what's so unique about your approach in Nuggets Academy?
The way I guess the two things. One would be the breaking down of the concepts into bite size and making it digestible for children. And also to be able to group them up into classes, right?
Yeah.
Their competency levels and their learning pace. Then besides that would be how we get to know each child personally, not just their personality and their likes and their quirks, and of course on top of that their learning difficulties if they do have, and then understanding their learning gaps.
Yeah.
So we break things down and we go down to the fundamentals of why the child is not doing well, instead of just here is our best curriculum formed by the best teacher and everyone's going to go through the same thing in the same manner, in the same pace. Yeah. Like as a business, I would like to do that. In a class of 15, this is the best curriculum. I've got the top teachers to write this curriculum. They were trained by them. This is it. Sure, it's great. Right? But in a class of 15, then again, the kids who are not even motivated to begin with, they're going to be physically there. But are they listening?
Maybe
I don't
not.
think so. Yeah.
I see.
So we go down to the fundamentals of these to help the kids feel better about themselves and then learn better from there.
Yeah. And it's quite strange, right? Because we had a conversation earlier and we were just thinking about how, I'm talking about majority, I'm not pinpointing, but majority of the tuition agencies out there, it's strange that they're supposed to help students who are struggling with studies, but sometimes they're not. Sometimes instead they'll focus on helping students who already have aces.
Yeah.
And they just want to do a bit more.
Yeah.
Right, which is very ironic
Yeah.
To the fact that they are supposed to be tuition centers helping students who are struggling.
Yes.
Yeah. So do you see that as well?
Very often, yes. But frankly, on a business, in the business aspect, right? If you look at it, by doing so, it gives you the boasting rights, what? Then you can advertise to say that 100% of our students score AR1, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that a good thing for business? It's great, right? Because the passing rate is 80%, or the A distinction rate is 90%. Then boasting rights. So this is something that unfortunately in our case, we don't advertise ourselves that way. Because if we are taking in students who are struggling and failing, are we really able to transform 100% of them to scoring A's? We may be able to do for some of them, but that is not the main thing that we focus on. So the end results comes later. I'm not saying that we don't, but that's not our main focus. Yeah. Our main focus would be to help these kids believe in themselves again. And then from there, we will transform the grades out thereafter.
A lot more personal development.
Yes.
While using math nugget as a medium, right?
Yes.
To help them get there.
Yes, correct. Yeah. And because that's what I do best.
Okay.
Yeah, the breaking down of the concepts, that's what I do best. So I use that to help them build their confidence in the subject, and then from there, helping them build confidence in other aspects of their lives.
So you write all the curriculum yourself?
For math, pretty much, yes.
Wow, okay.
With the help of my team, of course. Yeah.
And that was done when? How long ago?
That was for math. It was done bits and pieces throughout the time when I was tutoring. When I was teaching, tutoring from during my one-to-one days, and then until my small group that I was teaching small group classes at home.
Yeah.
Cumulative, basically.
Wow.
But I would say most of it would come from during the COVID time. The COVID time was when I started the Math Nuggets brand. And I really started to structure everything out nicely because purely out of love for my then students. Because COVID time, HBL, home-based learning, they don't see their teachers, then they can't see me also. Then are they actually learning? Most of them were blur like sotong, don't know what's going on.
Aiyo.
So I had to churn out resources, right? So that they can still learn without physically seeing me. Yeah, okay. So it was done out of pure love for my students at that point in time. Like, how can I structure this so that, they can watch snippets of my videos and all, and then I still make it interesting for them, right?
Yeah.
So find that, I'm watching Teacher Sandra. Teacher Sandra is on YouTube,
At that point in time, you had to struggle with the fact that you can't meet them in person and you can't correct them along the way.
Yes.
So the whole curriculum is built up in the sense of you might not even need a physical teacher to be there.
Yes.
Right? If you want them to really understand and follow through.
Yes, correct. Because it's really that basic, such that you can just watch my video and that's
what you're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah, and I believe no assessment books have that, right? Because assessment book weren't made for COVID times.
It's just the final solution, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes, which is the first step, which is the second step, and then why do you do this? Why do you do that? It doesn't come with all the explanations, right? So that's what I did for them. Every single step. Why? Then I go through the whole grandmother story, which is essential for struggling students.
Wow.
Yeah, they don't just understand it like that. You do this because this. Then they won't be failing it.
Yeah, that's true. So it's about forming that logic connection along the way.
Very much that.
Wow. This seems a lot of work.
A lot. Really a lot of work.
Are you publishing your assessment books?
Working on it.
Working on it.
Yeah, working on it.
Okay. Looking forward. So based on your methodology and philosophy for learning, right, how and what impact do you think you are creating for your kids? As
we transform them, into motivated learners, transform them, helping them have, instill in them this love for learning, right? End of the day, I hope that they carry this mindset, which is what we can call the growth mindset, they never say die, I'm just going to try no matter what, right? Mindset. And bring it throughout their lives as they go into adulthood and deal with bigger hurdles and challenges. I want them to become positive, happy human beings. Yeah. That is really the end goal that I want all our little nuggets that are studying, that are with us to take away at the end of the day.
Are there some examples of how this have impacted any student that you taught? What's your proudest achievement or moment?
Well, it comes to this like change in mindset. I have this parent. So I taught this girl up to P6, and then when she moved on to secondary school, then I stopped teaching her. I think when she was in like Sec 2 or 3, the mom just out of the blue texted me. So we haven't really been in touch. Then suddenly texted me, Teacher Sandra, I still just want to thank you. I have seen the transformation in her mindset. She used to hate math so much and hate learning and studying in general. But, after you, even though she still doesn't excel in the subject, because she just have learning difficulties, she has slower processing skills. But I see that she is just not giving up. She's just always wanting to learn more, wanting to try more, wanting to do more, which I'm so thankful for you for. Yeah. So this parent really saw the change in her daughter. So again, because being a parent, as much as you want your child to ace the subject, I think sometimes we need to be realistic.
Yeah.
Right? Like not every child will be able to score an A. But at the end of the day, your child is your child. You just want your child to be happy, not give up. Yeah, and just try to do better in all aspects in life.
Are there any tangible
case studies? Oh, I tell you, this boy that I used to coach, it was a very tough case. He came to us P5 end of year, scoring 13%. So that's 13 out of 100 at P5, end of P5. So he had less than a year to go to his final exams are PSLE. Yeah. So that's like about 9 months.
How do you get 13 even? So he doesn't answer all the questions? Or everything is wrong?
Everything is wrong. How to get 13 exactly?
Yeah.
Yeah. For most of us, we'll be like, how?
Yeah.
Like you fail borderline, okay,
45,
I get it.
30, still understand.
Less than 20, 13? Like what have you been doing?
Correct.
So so he was mostly just not interested. So see really just so no motivation, no. So obviously that would have accumulated from before, right? Yeah. Probably his P3, P4 years also didn't pay attention in school. That's why all the basic things also cannot do. So when I started teaching him, it was dealing with more of his attitude. He was more like perhaps from a neglected a child kind of issue. So then we just had to be more patient with him to show that, we care. Come on, it's okay. He will show us attitude that time also, like the purposely want to push our buttons, like the be rude to us and things like that. So all the more, we're going to drown you with love and patience, dude.
Kill them with kindness.
Yes, should kill with kindness. So like really showed him that extra thing that like, hey, nope, you're trying to be rude. No. It's okay. No, we try again. Come on, try. Like all the really just like keep being encouraging and all. Then the good thing about this boy is that he's actually capable. So he's not the sort that like has learning difficulties or slow processing or things like that. He's actually okay. It was really just more of a defiant mode, right? And hence his foundations were just not built. So it was a two-pronged approach. Killing with kindness, and then at the same time, okay, we struggle to feed all the information in, And the good news was at the end of the day, he managed to score an A. So from a 13% to an A at the back at that time, it was like 75 and above. So assuming he got 75, 13 to 75, huge achievement within 9 months. But it came with a lot of sweat and tears and blood. Okay, no blood. Sweat and tears.
Non-literal blood. But it's funny how you use the word coaching, right? Because usually you see teachers as teachers where they teach, right? But you use the word coaching a lot. Yeah. Yes. So do you feel that all your teachers are coach for the kids?
Yes, very much so. If I could use the word cheerleader, I would use the word cheerleader. So how do we coach and how do we cheerleader? Well, what I mentioned just now, right? With the kill them with kindness, right? So what are the things we do? Kind, right? Obviously passionate, right? Okay. And then have a heart for teaching, right? And then you just need to be extremely encouraging, especially for kids who struggle, self-esteem maybe, right? So we want the kids to have a cheerleader. So all our teachers are like, they have passed, they all have a heart for teaching. It's like, frankly, anybody can teach, right? Especially at the primary level. Content knowledge is something that can be trained, can be taught. But not every teacher or not every person would have a heart to help, especially the struggling kids. Because it's not easy. It's not easy at all. You know, to coach, to have to teach something again and again, 10, 20, 30 times, and then like, oh, I still don't know, right?
Yeah.
So you will get impatient, you will get frustrated. We are only human beings. So it is not easy to have a class of students like that, day in, day out, that you're facing and teaching and having to think of different ways to connect with them, address not just their learning difficulties, but also their mindset. So it takes a lot, and hence, I would say, majority of our job is not going through the content, not delivering the content, but majority is really being their cheerleader. Hence the word coach that I like to use. So you're a math coach, you're a subject coach, not so much a teacher. Or rather, maybe now teacher, the word teacher, right, suggests that you only teach, ma.
Yeah.
But a lot of times as an educator these days, you're not only teaching, you're doing all these other things.
Yeah, amazing. Why are you so passionate about teaching struggling kids? Did you struggle when you were in school?
Okay. Back in school, well, generally I was an okay kid. But in secondary school, I started to get really distracted with going out with friends. Then I started to slack a lot in secondary school. So I wasn't performing up to par. I guess I didn't find any motivation to want to do well. Like, for what? Having fun is more fun. Like, why study? No need lah. But months before my PSLE, months before O-levels, so my then form teacher and math teacher, she wrote me a very simple postcard. Dear Sandra, yada, yada, yada. I don't even remember what the rest of it was. But the words that start with me was, I believe in you. Wow. And talking about it brings tears to my eyes. I still remember at that point in time, I do not know why, but knowing that somebody believed in me at that point in time, it really spurred me on to want to do better. And then really after that, I like last minute revision, and then I did well. And I did well. So that really stuck with me. And I think if that could transform or change my mindset so easily, just with the I believe in you. And then I want to do that to the other kids as well, ma.
Yeah.
Right now, I feel like I need to pass that thing on. So I was blessed.
Yeah.
I was blessed, so I need to pass it on. So I want to help the other kids who struggle for whatever reasons, to let them know that, hey, we believe in you. Keep going. That's so important.
Wow, lovely. I mean, I have a lot of parents asking, because I run a youth community as well, right? A lot of parents asking, how do I help motivated kids? I mean, how do I help unmotivated kids, right? How do I motivate them to do better? And just by your sharing, it's actually as simple as telling them that you believe in them, that you are there to support them wherever they are, right? You're not judgmental of them, and you feel that there is always a better version of themselves.
Yes.
Yeah, and just by communicating that alone, you are already creating motivations for the kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's what I learned from you as well. Amazing. Not easy, not easy.
Not easy at all. It takes a lot. It's about all the grey hair, all the wrinkles. It takes a lot.
Yeah. What are some misconceptions that you like to share with parents when choosing a good tuition for the child? Of course, Math Nuggets is currently in Hougang, and you guys are looking at expanding, right? But for a parent who just want a neighborhood tuition center, right, and they want to send their kid there, what are some of the things that they have to take note of?
What are some of the things they have to take note of? I guess, falling back, okay, let's not talk about reputation or qualification of teachers. Let's take that as a granted. I think most of us in the industry, we do take pride in that. We make sure everything, all our teachers are qualified to teach, and also let's not talk about that. But in terms of the environment, let's look at whether or not your child is suitable in that learning environment or not. I would say, of course, one is class size. right? If you know that your child is the daydreamer, you can forget about your child paying attention in a class of more than 10, 15, 20, you can forget about it, right? If your child is already struggling in school, the class of 40, 20, not that much difference, same, right? So you know your child is a dreamer, forget about big groups, go for small group or like go for one-to-one tuition where really you can eyeball the child. So that's one. Another one would be, is your child also struggling in terms of is your child also still falling behind in that class? Like maybe that class is a fast-paced class and then your child is not doing so well. So not being able to catch up is one thing. What is it doing to your child's self-esteem?
Very tough. In school, I cannot. In school, I cannot catch up. Then go to tuition, also cannot catch up.
Like, am I that bad? My gosh, I'm so lousy, you know? So that kind of environment will not help. So then, in fact, it will just make things worse. So I think this is something that you need to take note of.
How about learning disabilities? I mean, nowadays, strangely speaking, last time we don't used to have a lot of cases of ADHD, but more so these days. Maybe it's due to the fast-paced environment or the fact that they can, get information by the click, right? That I heard of more learning disabilities coming up.
A lot.
ADHD is one example. Dyslexia, so and so forth. So for learning disabilities, right, how can parents deal with it? Is a tuition setting suitable?
So for learning disabilities, like you mentioned, perhaps having a dyslexia or ADHD, or maybe your child is on the spectrum, right? When they require help in terms of their schoolwork, depending on the severity, right? It's always a mild or okay or like very jalat, right? So depending, but I would say for students with general learning disabilities, of course, a large class will not benefit them so much, right? They will need more tailored, more customized learning according to their pace and their learning gaps and their learning needs. So having said that, depending on the severity, I would say go for a small group class where the teacher is able to understand your child, or just go for a one-to-one private tutor where the tutor can just straight away pinpoint.
But it's better if they have some sort of experience dealing with children like that.
For sure, because it is a very different approach. How you tailor your approach, how you tailor your teaching methods, teaching a regular child and a child with certain learning difficulties, it is very, very different. So even at our side, we do see a lot of students coming in, parents asking for help for their child. Oh, my child is ADHD, my child is dyslexic. And a lot of times they're very anxious and very concerned. Does your teacher have experience? My child dyslexic, so a bit slower, that kind of thing. They're very concerned because as a parent, you don't want your child to be treated cruelly or in an unkind manner outside, right? Hey, why you don't know? That kind of thing. So over at our side, it's good that parents are disclosed to us, like let us know that, oh, my child is struggling with this. So then we can take note, right? And then, of course, after knowing, then of course, that's where the empathy comes in, right? So we know why you struggle. So thank you for helping us understand. So then we are able to address the things accordingly in the correct manner.
It's strange, right? Because I heard that some parents do not disclose. They hide.
Yes.
Maybe because of the fear of stigma.
Yes, for
right?
sure.
The fear of being judged, right? Yes. So what do you say to these parents?
Unfortunately, social stigma is still very much there, right? If you bring your special needs child in the public, people will still be staring, they're wondering, hey, why like that? Social stigma is very much there. However, I think I can definitely understand why parents don't want to disclose, right? They don't want to feel embarrassed or judged. However, I think when it comes to education partners or when people that you're working closely with to nurture your child, I think disclosing is super important because in the first place, if your child is already diagnosed with certain things, there will be certain ways or methods that you want to approach or you want your education partners to
pay special attention.
Definitely that, yeah. So should not actually hide or feel embarrassed. So if you find that the center or the tutor is saying that, oh, I can't help your child because of this, then actually it's a good thing because they're not qualified or they're not equipped
So
or they're not
tell
ready.
You first.
Yeah. Rather than putting them in the wrong environment, then it's like then make things worse.
Yeah. What are some objections that you get from parents for coming to your center?
I would say the main objection would be, your teachers are not NIE trained. Yeah. Oh, you're also not NIE trained. Yeah, I'm not NIE trained, but I've been teaching for like close to 2 decades. So that's one of the main things. But what I would have to say to that would be, I think, as we have mentioned in the whole, like our earlier conversation, would be that anybody can teach, can train, they can know the subject, the content knowledge, and they can teach. But can they communicate the idea properly with to the child? Right? Again, different children, different, right? Are they able to adjust their teaching methods accordingly and communicate the ideas to each and different child? And also whether or not they have the heart to teach. Because frankly, coaching the kids is not easy. So if you do not have the heart to teach, you will not last in the industry. I give you 2 months, okay, fine, I give you 2 years. That's about it. You get burnt out and tired because it's a thankless job.
Not your passion.
Yeah, it's a thankless job, You keep getting stuff, the uncooperative kids, right? Sometimes they're not pleasant, right? But you need to change their behavior, right? That takes time. If you don't have that heart, the passion to teach, you're not able to. So over at our side, yes, our teachers are not NIE trained. Most of us have not taught in school. Right now, we do have a handful, 1 or 2, but majority of us aren't. But all of us have the passion and the heart to teach. So my teachers go through the interview process with me. Yes, I check whether or not they are qualified to teach, whether or not they're taught before, they've got experience, yada. Yes, I check on that. But the other thing is the vibe check. That's super important. Do you vibe with me? Do you love your students the way I love my students? Are you in for it? Like, are you sure you're going to face this and this and this kind of student? Are you okay? I make sure that they have the heart for teaching. Because some teachers are in it for the wrong reasons. Just because, I don't have a job now and this job is available, so here I am. No, you're not going to last. Not going to be able to last.
I find it hard to believe that there are teachers that can teach for many, many years, but don't have the patience to teach struggling kids. Have you come across before?
Yes. Yes. It's okay. But it's just how you're wired. It's just how you're wired. So of course there are many teachers out there who are expert in the subjects, right? Like PhD in math or professor and things like that, right? But then they can deliver. And they're good at that, right? But that is just being good at delivering the content. You're good at solving, and then you're great at your content knowledge and whatever. But to deal with struggling kids, it's a totally different ballgame.
Yeah,
you can't do the delivery of showing how I know this, right? Wow, this is great. This theory, this concept, yeah. For a regular person, you'd be like wow, you know your stuff. I get it, it's nice. But for a kid that's struggling, they are wired differently. You need to really dumb things down to a certain extent, for lack of a better word, and break it down into like the crumbs.
The nuggets.
Yeah, the nuggets. That's where the nuggets come about. And then like this first, like building blocks, slowly then we adds on to that. So that's what this is about. That first.
I agree with you. I have some genius friends that they are really great at subject matter expert, basically, right? But they are really bad at teaching.
Yes. And it's just how their brain is wired, because they are like up there already. It's like
correct.
Why don't you know this? Isn't it a given? Isn't this common sense? Yeah. So it's just very different.
Okay. That's very interesting. Do you have any struggles when you were just starting your tuition business?
Or
maybe let's backtrack a bit, right? When did you start? Because you were doing one-to-one. So at some point in time, there must be a trigger point to say, okay, I need to scale it. I need to open a center. And when was that?
So, started one-to-one. Then I did small group tuition I converted a classroom at home for that. Then COVID happened. Right, so COVID happened, and that was when I actually started the brand Math Nuggets, initially as a YouTube channel and as an online school. I was offering like courses and Zoom classes and all. So that was when I started to get exposure online, and I started to get a lot of feedback from parents like wow, my son understands the way you teach. Like, wow, I love the way you teach. I keep wanting for more. Like, when is your next video? Like, oh, I have fans now. And I have parents also coming to me to say that, oh, my son didn't understand this concept for the longest time, but like once he watched your video, he got it. So there were a lot of people who appreciated how I managed to break things down to easy to understand manner.
Yeah.
And they welcomed my approach and my teaching methodology. And that gave me the confidence to like, wow, really? Like, you think I'm good? So there's more. So then when COVID ended, right, when we opened up, started to get a lot more inquiries, right? Like, oh, I want to send my boy for classes. And these people were coming from like all over the island, not just nearby me. So they could come from like, we're at Hougang ma. So they could come from like Bukit Permai, Choa Chu Kang, Woodlands, Yishun.
Wow, all the way.
Yeah, all the way. Then I'll be like, are you sure in your area got no other centers?
Yeah.
Like, then they're like, no, I want to send my child to you. So thank you for your belief. I hope I make it worthwhile for you. I'll try my best. So yeah, so then from then, more and more inquiries came. Then I was like, wow, I'm only one person.
Yeah.
There's only so many kids I can help. So how can I do this better? Then I find that there's really a need to help parents and students like that. So that's why I decided to start a physical center so that I can form a team of like-minded, passionate educators who have the same beliefs and values as I do, so that we can form a community of parents, of students, and be able to help more students do better.
Yeah, and what was it like? So you opened the center in which year after COVID?
The physical center in 2022, August, we opened our doors.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So that's only 2
Just
years.
2 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how many classes do you have right now?
So in 2022, we had one center, and that's 3 classrooms. And in 2023, August, July, around there, we expanded to another unit along the same stretch because we were running out of classrooms. So we had more classes going on. So then I expanded. Then in 2024, this year, sometime in July as well, just a couple months back, we expanded to another 2 classrooms and with the office as well. Why office? Because our teachers were also always working on the curriculum and things like that. So we needed a space for them to sit and do their work. So we have 3 places along the same stretch.
Short houses. Right?
Short houses, yeah. So we have 3 separate places as of now. So a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 classrooms now. And next month, in November, we're gonna have another. We're gonna have another 3 classrooms. So that's because we're offering more. We're gonna offer not just math. We're gonna be offering science and English as well. So science nuggets and English nuggets. Yeah.
So you can open a McDonald's.
So my students are like, the whole shop house you take okay.
So cute. Wow, that's really good milestone. Really an achieved milestone.
So I guess the reason why we started the science and English was it was very encouraging from our existing pool of parents, right? They were very encouraging. They're like, hey, when English and science, I need it. When? So then we started to okay, we'll work on it, So then we currently also have our existing parents are like so when is it starting? December, is it? Okay, I'm gonna transfer from the other center to you. Then I'm a bit taken aback, how why transfer? Are they not doing well there? If they're doing well, then keep it lah. You don't have to transfer and things like that. I don't know, because I believe in your commitment to your students.
Oh.
Okay.
Wow.
Thank you for the belief. I'll try my best. We will try our best. Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing.
I'm very thankful for the support, for the belief that our parents have in us.
And you are the sole founder of the business.
Yes. It's not easy.
Yeah, not easy, I believe, right?
So when I first started, in the first 6 months, I was like doing 16-hour work days every day.
Oh,
So I barely slept. I was like, I think I slept like only 3 to 4 hours every day. And at that point in time, I was starting the physical center. My daughter was only 1 year old. So come home, we still must, mommy. So it's really not easy lah. So the first 6 months, every morning I wake up with regret.
I mean, let's not like, don't overlap ma. Why do you have to overlap your timing, right?
I don't know, it just came like the universe told me that was the right time. Like, okay lah, fine lah.
I see.
Yeah, so then, every day I wake up with regret, like, why did I choose to do this? But it's too late too. There's no backdoor emergency exit. You're in. Then you just have to go forge ahead.
Wow, inspiring.
It's not easy. I wouldn't wish on it for anyone. It's not easy. Don't start a business when your daughter is 1 year old, okay? You must be out of your mind.
Yes. So what are your hopes for the future? For the future of the Nugget Academy?
For the Nugget? Well, there's a reason why we are named the Nuggets Academy. So the big dream would be, of course, Academy teaches a lot of things, right? So not just like math. So now we are offering English and science, to of course do well in those aspects as well, and then perhaps offer more stuff because kids ma. So we want to nurture them, right? So I'm not even talking about just like the subjects that they're needing tuition in, but other things, music, coaching, other fun stuff. So then that's what we offer, and then perhaps definitely a few more outlets around the island so that we can help the parents that don't just reside in the northeast area. So we have parents coming from west side, far north, right? So I want to be able to meet them at where they are. Yeah. Not having them like come all the way, couple times a week, all the way to Hougang just to send their child. So these are the dreams lah.
Amazing. And how can parents hearing this, or even students themselves, right, support you in this journey that you have?
How can they support me?
Yeah.
Enroll with us. I mean, that's of course one, like the salesy talk, right? But I think the dreams that I have, the bigger dream, right? Like world peace, right? But okay, not world peace, but I want every child to grow up with a positive mindset law. So if you're watching this and what I say resonates with you, you find that it makes sense, then I think we can just start with ourselves. Start with our family, start with how we are with our children. And then, we'll just help one student at a time, or in my case, one nugget at a time. Yeah.
I like how you mentioned about the starfish, right? The starfish story.
Yeah, I think I read somewhere that, a person was like strolling along the seaside, right? Then it was low tide already. So all the starfishes were still stuck on shore. So she was just like picking up one starfish and throwing back to sea, picking up one by one and throwing back to sea. Somebody saw this and then asked the person, why are you doing this? It's like, no, it's okay. I just like helping them. I would just do it one starfish at a time. So I feel like that's what we are doing at Math Nuggets as well. Like really just helping them. Well, I call them my little nuggets. So like helping the little nuggets one at a time.
Sandra, what is your mission?
My mission would be to help struggling kids instill a growth mindset in them so that they can face adversities and difficulties later on in life.